New achievement! You managed to get through the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book without throwing it against the wall. Reward? You get to review the book.
The transformation occurred at approximately 2:23 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. As far as I could tell, anyone who was indoors when it happened died instantly. If you had any sort of roof over you, you were dead. That included people in cars, airplanes, subways, even tents and cardboard boxes. Hell, probably umbrellas too. Though I'm not sure about that one. I didn't think about it. My head still swam with all the information that had been thrown at me. The pink Crocs barely fit on my feet, and the distant fire was further away than I thought. I had seen firsthand what hypothermia did to people. So, I turned towards the light, and I ran. I'm on an alien television show. Holy shit! Question: what's the only thing standing between an innocent child and a happy, fulfilling life? Answer: you! The answer is you. You killed an armed mob with your bare fucking hands. Holy crap, dude, that's kind of fucked up. Look, being eaten by a bugbear makes me uncomfortable, Carl, so if your boyfriend ogling your tootsies keeps these easy-peasy bugs coming at us instead of those lava-spitting llamas, well then you'd better buck up, get over your human male privilege, and take one for your princess. Now, cats are assholes, I get it. But do you know why people like cats despite their assholeness? It's because they don't fucking talk! If they did and they were all like you, they'd be extinct because we'd all killed you by now. New achievement! Fall into an obvious trap. Reward? Well, if there's a heaven and you haven't been too much of an asshole, maybe they'll let you in. Because you're about to meet your maker.
Hey, what's up, bookworms and crawlers? And we're here today, guys, to talk about a book I never thought that I'd be talking about. And that, of course, is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman, released in 2020. This is the first book in a series. I think there's 7 currently out. This is a book that I feel like if you've been hiding under a rock, you still would have found a way to hear about it. I think few books have gained the following. A few series have gained the following this one has in such a short amount of time, because it went from like a couple of people talked about it to like everyone's talking about it, to where like I couldn't put out a video without some comments. I mean, anything. I could be talking about anything. I could be talking about like taking my dog to the vet and there'd be some comment about, have you read Dungeon Crawler Carl yet? So it was one of those things where I said, look, LitRPG isn't exactly my bag. I tried it once with Cradle. It was a big miss for me. So I just thought, hey, maybe that's not kind of my thing. I love playing Final Fantasy. I don't like reading about you grinding for XP. So I just kind of always wrote it off. But I did buckle to demand. I have so many people ask me to read this, saying they think that I would like it, despite that, saying it's LitRPG for not LitRPG fans. And I was like, I don't know. Well, we'll find out. But I finally said, okay, I'll give it a try. And I am here, guys, to review the book. Because I read the book. I'm not here to review the audiobook. If you have to tell me one more time about how great that audiobook is, well, God damn it, Donut. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, guys, let's begin like usual. Let's get into what is this book about. Well, in a flash, every human erected construction on Earth collapses into a heap, sinking into the ground. The buildings and all the people inside have all been atomized and transformed into a dungeon. An 18-level labyrinth filled with traps, monsters, and loot. A dungeon so enormous it circles the entire globe. Only a few dare venture inside. But once you're in, you cannot get out. And what's worse, each level has a time limit. You have but days to find a staircase to the next level down, or it's game over. In this game, it's not about your strength or your dexterity. It's all about your followers, your views, your clout. It's about building an audience and killing those goblins with style. You can't just survive here. You gotta survive big. You gotta fight with vigor, with excitement. You got to make them stand up and cheer. And if you do have that it factor, well, you just may find yourself with the following. That's the only way to truly survive in this game, with the help of generous benefactors watching from across the galaxy. They call it Dungeon Crawler World. But for Carl, it's anything but a game, guys. 2020, this is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Pretty amazing he's put out 7 of these books in such a short time, right? I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of one of the things that's really been attractive about it, is it's not like really, heavy, epic fantasy. I don't know. They do look like they get thicker and thicker, though. And I don't know. Let's get into what I liked about this, guys. We'll talk about what I liked, what I didn't like. What I liked about this is, look, for lack of a better phrase, this shit is funny. I laughed like crazy reading this book, and I did not expect to. I thought it would be kind of that Ready Player One humor, and I don't want to derail here. I like Ready Player One. In hindsight, I'm like, it kind of laid on the nostalgia a little thick. Now look, I'm a Gen Xer. We are all about the member berries. We love those kinds of things. But with this, I felt like it did the humor in a way to where I found it very, very amusing, like I did when I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And that's the comparison I made. Was it's not like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it had that thing where almost every paragraph could end in a joke, and it would land almost every time. I kind of felt the way, because I reread Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in 2022. It was the first time I'd read it in a few years, and I laughed so hard. And this is the most I have laughed reading a book since that. And that's very good company, because that's a book I adore. And I just think that the dialogue is just so over the top and absurd, and I absolutely loved it. And something else I think that you're going to love if you are of my age bracket, you're going to love this. Gen Xers, the pop culture references, all the things that he mentions in here, it's stuff you're going to love. It's sayings that some stuff that I haven't thought about in years. He really, really knows. I don't think it's exclusive to Gen Xers, obviously, because there's all ages seem to really enjoy these books. But it's one of those things that I didn't expect. I didn't expect to find so much stuff that Gen Xers. And I know Matt Dinniman, I think he's like 2 or 3 years younger than me. So we're of the same generation, I do believe. But yeah, lots of references here that I absolutely loved. The one about Stargate had me just laughing so hard. It was really, really good, because there is only one MacGyver, I'm telling you. The relationship between Carl and Princess Donut. This was really, really something, because it starts, it's like absurd, because I'm a dog person. And where he's talking about how big of assholes cats are, I'm like right there with you. Cats are the worst. But over time, I really, really grew to be affectionate of these two. And I think it was something like, obviously with Carl, as he realizes, hey, yes, of course, I was plotting to steal this cat, and keep it. And it was one of those relationships I didn't expect to like as much as I did. I don't know why, because even before I read this, everyone's like, oh, I would die for Princess Donut. I'm like, well, okay. I feel like people always say that with animal companions. But much like *Realm of the Eldlings* with Robin Hobb, when you can make your animal companion talk, it's kind of a cheat code. And talk Princess Donut does. It's very, very funny. I was dead with laughter the whole time these two were talking about it. But I think that this book has better character work than a book like this needs. It's one of those where, like, look, you embrace the absurdity of this and don't take it too seriously. I think you'll have a really, really good time. And I came for that. I stayed because the character work is actually quite good. And not just Carl and Princess Donut. Mordecai I'm interested in, that relationship, the budding relationship there. But I also, the one about, let's just say there's some rivals and you hear about like their backstory, and it's very, very tragic. And then there's obviously this whole relationship going on with him and some elderly folk that he opened this book. And let's just say when some people don't make it in this series, I'm very, very sad. I'm very, very sad. So the way that he's able to pull that off in something that's this absurd makes me think, okay, this is book one. How good is he going to get with this character work? So I did not expect this kind of character work in a book like this. Even though everybody told me, yeah, it has really good. I just thought that was you guys trying to get me to read it. I really did, because I'm character first. But I really thought that was just something you guys are doing. But I love that Dinniman's already kind of, giving us little tiny bites of Carl's backstory, like talk about his relationship with his dad, talk about his relationship with his ex, and of course with Donut. I think that these are things that he's slowly peeling back and is going to give us more and more, especially the stuff with his dad, obviously, because you can't get that all in one book. But I'm really, really interested in that stuff, because there are just like random flags where he'll be thinking about something from his childhood, which, scatterbrain, you get this age, just what we do is every once in a while you'll be like, I have no idea why I started thinking about that jingle from that commercial I liked when I was 6. We're like that. Our brains just work like that at this age. And I guess you call it the system AI, is basically almost like the narrator who tells you, new achievements, tells you, your rewards, tells you what your item descriptions or whatever. Very, very funny. Every time it's reading an achievement, I'm finding a way to laugh. It's got a certain fetish that's very, very funny to me. And that's one of those things where I can see why probably the audiobook makes this very, very amusing. I can see why people do love it so much. I can tell you, for me, I found it very funny reading it. So I think that's one of those things that's going to land regardless of how you decide to consume it. But the System AI is very, very funny. And I didn't think that it would be. I thought that would be something that would get a little obnoxious after a while, a little exhausting, but it didn't. I'm finding it still very much funny. And that's why when I put that little clip together at the beginning of this video, it was very hard for me to decide which achievement I was going to read in that introduction. But it's some really, really good ones. Really, really good ones. And I like that he's planting seeds, for things to come. They talk about, like, for example, Donut does get this item, and I won't tell you exactly what it is. It gets an item, equips it, no questions asked, because they're still really early at it, and you didn't read the description. And this is, if anyone's played Final Fantasy, this can happen if you put on like cursed armor or something like that. And it basically says, hey, when you get to level 9, some shit's going to happen. and it's not going to be good. Now, I don't know. They might have already gotten there by the time I get to book 7. I don't know, but I'm like, okay, well, I want to know about this. You know, I want to know how this gets to, what happens when we get to level 9, because Carl's going to make some very, very tough decisions to make. But things like that, planting those seeds this early makes me think, okay, he actually has like a little bit of a roadmap, I think. Hopefully so, because I do like it when an author does know a beginning, middle, and end, instead of just using the lost formula and making up as we go, knowing where we're going with the story. That's exciting to me. That makes me think, okay, he's already got the ending in mind. I hope that's the case. At least that's how it feels with these seeds that are being planted. So what did I not like? Yes, guys, there is no such thing as a perfect book. Obviously, the progression part, that's not my bag. I don't need to know about your compounded damage points, your dexterity, your willpower. I don't need to know those things. Those are the kind of things that make me want to close the book. Those are the kind of things that made me stop reading Cradle. However, I have good news. You don't need to read those things. I think it's one of those things, if you are really, really into those things, you can read them and it will enhance the story, but you don't have to. I said it's kind of like the footnotes in Nevernight Chronicle by Jay Kristoff. If you read them, sure, it enhances the story, but you can skip them. The story doesn't really change. Really, the comparison that I made was Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and that's a really weird comparison to make, but let me explain. In that book, at the front of it, you have an elemental chart, and it tells you what all these burning these metals does. What magic ability does it give the user? And if you combine this and combine that, what it does. And at first, I was reading that, and I was like, okay, they're doing this and that, yeah. I was following along like I was like watching like a nature documentary or something. And then I said, you know what? They're doing magic. And that's kind of how you can treat this. If you want to follow those things, you can, or you can just say, hey, yeah, they got some level ups, they got some status points, cool. I'm moving along with the story, and it's fine. The story doesn't suffer without those things. But I'll be straight, guys. Again, this is a Gen Xer thing. It takes a lot to really upset us, a lot to offend us. I loved how inappropriate this book was. It's very inappropriate. There are things I'm just like, whoa, I can't believe you can get away with this in 2020. But it's one of those things like, that warning's there. If you're one of those people who goes into every book looking for a reason to be upset, yeah, there'll be things that upset you in here. Be straight. Carl can be kind of a dude bruh sometimes. He really can. And I love that. I have no problems with that. Some people might. I've seen there are some backlash and some controversy things out there about the book. But I think at the end, if you're taking a book about a guy with his talking cat going through a video game dungeon, I don't know why you're taking that so damn seriously. This isn't a book that's got to make some big proclamation or statement, I don't think. But again, if little things like that will upset you, yeah, they're here. They're here. For me, I loved it, but it's just something for you to look out for, because I got crucified because I didn't let someone know these things in the past. So I want to make sure that I let you guys know. But why should you read Dungeon Crawler Carl? Well, this is a tough one. Guys, I'm going to be straight. This is not going to be a book for everyone. For me, it's like I was reading everything was super grimdark, super deathly serious. Everything was the end of the world. It was fun to have fun. I said in the weekly update where I talked about this, laughter is good for the soul. And this book gave me a lot of laughs. It was perfect timing for me because I said I was getting a little disillusioned with a lot of modern fantasy. This was a breath of fresh air. This was kind of exactly what I needed, and I think this could be a really great palate cleanser series between those big, heavy, epic, grimdark reads, although, like I said, they do seem to get thicker and thicker as the series goes along. But I mean, I breezed through this in a few days, and I'm pretty sure that you will as well. But I think if you just accept that it's over the top and absurd and just let yourself go with it and quit trying to take it so seriously, again, I think you'll have a good time with it. So if you love you some animal companions, though, I think that's a big one here. And it isn't just Princess Donut. There are other things in here I think that you will like. But yeah, it's one that I think if you're a fantasy fan, you probably are interested in animal companions. It's kind of encoded into our DNA. I think that you'll find things to like a lot about this. I mean, I think that Princess Donut is kind of the MVP of this series from what I'm gathering. I'm seeing there's t-shirts and all kinds of stuff. The thing is, I read one Dungeon Carl book, and now I get targeted ads saying, God damn it, Donut on it. So it does seem like it has a life going on there. But if you're a gamer, this is going to be everything for you. You're gonna love this. If you're a D&D guy, if you are a video game gal, you do any of these things that you really just spend a lot of time just pouring into building a character, I think this is going to be the series for you, because you will have those things where it does feel like it's enhancing. But again, you don't have to do those things. But I think that it'll be hard for a gamer not to have fun here. I kept bringing up Borderlands because it reminded me a lot of Borderlands, which we'll talk about my final thoughts here in a second. But I guess I would be remiss not to say that apparently the audiobooks are better than sex. I mean, that's what I understood. I think of another series ever, even more so than Dresden Files, where every comment is about, Mike, I know you don't do audiobooks, but you got to do the audiobook. And it's just like, this isn't like I don't want to thing, guys. Like I really cannot. It's something I don't want to do. But it's not that I don't want to, it's that I cannot do it. I will miss all kinds of things. I listen to some sound clips that people sent me and stuff. It's very funny. I can see why you guys like it. But it's like, it's one of those things I can't focus on it. But if you can, apparently that's the way to go. People say that is the superior way to consume this story is via the audiobook. Jeff Hayes, I forget the name of the audiobook narrator, but apparently he is quite good, and I think it's just awesome because it's got more people, checking out this series. So for my final thoughts, I guess I would say I like this a lot because it just feels like an amalgamation of several things I love. Stephen King's The Running Man, I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and then I think you got some Borderlands, the video game franchise in there because, obviously Stephen King's The Running Man, it has a show where people are televised, a TV show where you are hunting each other down and people are betting and watching from their living room and things like that. And you got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which just has where it is a live action video game. And then of course Borderlands. The reason I bring up Borderlands is because in Borderlands, whenever there is loot boxes or drops, if you read the descriptions on those items, it really sounds like a lot of the stuff that he describes in this book. So I think that if you haven't played Borderlands yet, please play it. And you like this book, please play Borderlands. I think it's clear to me that Matt Dinniman probably played Borderlands because I feel like there's a lot of flavor of that in here. That's 3 things I love, man. That's great. This book was a very, very pleasant surprise. I want to thank you guys for recommending it because I will be continuing with it. I don't have a date yet. I don't know what the future holds. And those the hardcovers, these are pretty pricey. I think they're like $25-30 a pop right now. And it's one of those things where I said like The Witcher, I don't know if I want to wait because I'm afraid that, eventually you might not be able to get them. But I don't know. That's a big chunk of change to throw down all at once. But maybe I'll pick up the digital for now. But I will be continuing with the series. I'm very interested to see where it does go. It ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, obviously, but I think every one of these books probably will. If you're going down to new levels, I'm pretty sure that's a good breaking point for each one of these books. But interested to see where it's going. And again, I'm so glad that you guys recommended this to me. You did not leave me alone about it because I had a really, really great time with it. And I think that I will continue to do so. And I can't wait for you guys to tell me, what I've been missing. Maybe I'll understand some of these references you guys keep throwing at me as we go along. Because I didn't know what glurp was, apparently, until after this. But I didn't realize he said goddamn a donut so much in this book until they actually brought up the whole catchphrase part. And I was just laughing. It's just really good. Really, really good, guys. So Dungeon Crawler Carl, guys, have you read it? Please, no spoilers past book 1, since that's as far as I am, but I would love to know what you think about this book. And if you were going to give it a try, if you haven't yet, did you read it like me, or did you just listen to the audio? I know I'm not going to be able to avoid the audiobook people forever because you guys are legion, but I admire the passion. It's really, really strong, and it just shows that the gratitude and excitement within this fandom is it's really, really cool. I can't wait to continue with it here. Hopefully very, very soon. So drop in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I will talk to you there.